Oh, we're live.
All right, we are live. It's the Spinning Backfist MMA. I just noticed the hearts. It's the Spinning Backfist MMA show, Valentine's Day edition, I guess. I don't know who was in here last, but they got the Valentine's Day decorations. It's Robbie Fox, it's Big Ev, and it's Jack Mack. He'll be joining in just a second. He pushed the show live on Rumble, everywhere it can be found, and the show is presented by New Amsterdam. Find your wins with New Amsterdam vodka. They're the official vodka of Barstool Sports, have been for years now, and it's because they're the best in the business. We all love New Amsterdam, whether it's their regular vodka, Pink Whitney, or any of their other products. It's the perfect fight night drink as well. Goes down smooth.
It goes down smoothly. You can make anything with it. I mean, like you can make a cocktail. You could drink it straight.
Yep.
You can have it on the
It's
rocks.
that good.
You can do whatever you want. Shout out New Amsterdam. It's a beautiful drink. Shout out Pink Whitney. I was looking at Pink Whitney earlier. It's just a great looking can. Yeah, last night we saw the Spit and Chicklets guys. They were in Canada. They had a huge live show.
Yep. And I just got word there's going to be some Pink Whitney Pup Punk news coming very soon. Some awesome news.
There we go. So, like, talk about just the synergy of all of our brands together. But last night I saw them all having some Pink Whitney in front of the crowd. I was like, that's awesome.
I love it.
So shout out New Amsterdam Vodka.
Shout out everyone in the chat. Make sure you join the Rumble chat as well. It's a new platform for us, so make sure you follow us on there.
We're exclusively reading Rumble chats.
But we're everywhere that it could be found. You know, we're not like only going to be on Rumble, but that is going to be a new big platform for us that we're hoping that we blow up on. So, make sure you support there.
So shout out everyone watching our Rumble.
Maybe we'll do some slap.
Some power slap.
Slap Rumble content.
You saw the Rough and Rowdy, Miss Bousset. You saw her slap the fighter's mom.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Incredible.
And I love Dana White posting it on the story afterwards.
Slapped the piss out of him.
It was a real slap.
Oh, that was genuine.
Boom. It was one of the best moments for
Big
Rough
power
and Rowdy.
slap this upcoming week.
Is it? It's not Saturday though. It's the
Thursday
before the Super
It's
Bowl,
like
right?
next week. Yeah.
It's like all the stars are going to be out because obviously everyone's there for the Super Bowl.
I know the Bussin' guys are going to be there.
Awesome.
At least Taylor. I think Will's going to be there
Vegas
too. But
week, just in general.
yeah,
I think Charles Barkley's going to be there.
At Power Slap. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because
like
with the
VIP
VIP tickets,
VIP
you
tickets,
can meet Charles Barkley.
Yeah. So that's actually scenes like
Him
Charles,
and Shaq. That's the dream matchup right there.
Bob, they're gonna oil you up, Bob. What does that mean?
Oh man, they're talking about oiling me up. That's
Oil you up.
Dana cannot escape that at this point.
It's so funny.
It really is.
He never could have predicted how that one comment would just.
That's the
follow
one
him
thing.
forever.
If you ever get, well, obviously, I think you'll get to interview him again at some point, but
I hope so.
that has to be a question.
Oh yeah,
Has to be almost maybe the first question.
like,
Either the first or I think or the last.
do you regret reading that comment out loud on that Instagram live?
Did you hear even in Canada, like at the
Yeah, they were chanting it.
They were like oil. I mean,
And
once
he's being a good sport about it, though. He did that video with Nina Drama where she was like, she kept like walking up to him with the oil. He's like,
she posted a photo of like him and her oiled up, and it was just it was like an AI.
I was like, yeah, I saw
but
that.
it was very like I don't know if like
That was a bizarre photo.
yeah.
Honestly, do you think it even becomes a thing if he just doesn't do the classic Dana White giggle after?
The giggle
Is
was
the
a
giggle the
huge
butterfly
part.
effect of the rest of it?
What the fuck does that mean?
Oil me up.
And I think
Just the way
Jedi
he
Goodman
said-
was the one who cut the clip originally, and the way he did like the zoom in on Dana's face as he giggles makes it so much funnier.
I laugh. I can watch the clip 100 times and laugh every time.
Oil
Yeah.
me up.
Oil me up.
The
The fuck does that mean?
he's unbelievable.
We got a lot of fight news that has gone down since our last show. Fight news actually just broke moments before we went live. The Tyson Fury Usyk fight is off, and there's photos of this. Tyson Fury sustained a cut in training that looks horrendous.
One of the worst cuts I maybe have ever seen.
Like one of those no-brainer. This fight has to be off because it's in 2 weeks, and he got 15 stitches right above his eye. It looked like 2 cuts
I was
actually.
there's two. There's like a huge one above the eyebrow and then one kind of under the eyebrow.
Yeah,
And they're obviously the one. It's like you said, 15 stitches. I mean, that fight's I'd imagine is going to be postponed at least like 2 months. Probably.
yeah.
At least a month and a half. I think 2 months. And yeah, I mean,
It
you can't.
sucks, 'cause
That's got to
was
be a
super-
full recovery.
That was a mega fight.
Yeah. And the fact that it kind of got pushed in the first place because of the Francis fight. You know, they were like targeting, I think, December for it. Francis fights him, fucks him up. And then it was like, we got to push it even further. I saw Helwani just tweeted. He was like, there's only one thing to do now. Francis versus Joshua for the undisputed title. And he wrote like ducks. Like he knew that was going to piss people off. But yeah, Francis and Joshua are actually fighting. That'll be a good fight.
Yeah, great fight.
Yeah,
I'm
when is
excited.
that?
March?
Yeah, but I think is it an? I thought it was an undercard even to something. I feel like they booked a boxing card where there's like two really big fights, and I thought it was that one. There's like this fight and then one other I could have swore. Maybe I'm
With
off.
all the Saudi money and whatnot over there, they probably they're stacking them.
Is it Big Bang Zhang versus Wilder?
You might be right.
It's March 8th.
Or
I know that.
Joyce
Versus Wilder, maybe it's one of those.
Aren't they doing like a kind of like a tournament of sorts for all the belts in the heavyweight division in Saudi?
I thought they were doing like a card like that where there's like two big heavyweight fights and the two main. Because usually, obviously, with boxing, no one even cares what usually the co-main.
Because they're unifying.
But this one was a big one.
I think they're unifying all the belts in Saudi, quote unquote, under DAZN.
That'd be nice if
to
they did.
One heavyweight belt.
Because that's been a huge knock on boxing for like 20 years now. Is that
And then
there's too many
DAZN
belts.
and Saudi kind of just bought it all out with Saudi, with the idea of really trying to make it, the tourism capital of the Middle East and whatnot. And they've been really focused on
They've got
that.
PFL versus Bellator in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and they fighting is a huge part of that for them. Would be interesting, and that would be cool. I don't know if they were doing a tournament of sorts, but I knew that they had something.
Yeah, and we did interview Johnny Eblin, by the way, again. That'll be out on Monday about his fight on Bellator versus PFL. He's fighting Impa. It's going to be a good fight. I think we're all in our boy Johnny's corner, of course.
Johnny's the man.
Expecting a dominant finish from him. But look out for that on Monday. Rumble, YouTube, podcast feed, Twitter, everywhere where you could find Spinning Backfist, you'll see that interview. And more fight news. So yesterday was a roller coaster of emotions for all fight fans.
Yeah.
Poirier tweets in the morning. Dustin Poirier tweets, "My fight's off, but I'm still training or still working," and picture him in the gym. So everyone's like, what the fuck does this mean? Is Benoit pulled out? We go to Benoit's social media. He's posting, "Don't worry, guys. I'm counting down the days to UFC 299. I'm still going to be there." And this is the Miami card, right?
Yes.
So I'll still be there in Miami. He's in the gym training. So then it's like, all right, they're both healthy, but Poirier says the fight's off. What's going on? Speculation immediately is like, McGregor, UFC 300.
Yeah.
A couple of people Magic started saying maybe this is going to be the route to get Poirier McGregor. And then it gets even crazier when Benoit's team, his coach, did an interview maybe a couple weeks ago where he was like, yeah, none of us knew about this. Like Benoit's wife had to wake him up and be like, "You're fighting Dustin Poirier." And he was shocked. Dana White comes with the receipts 5 minutes later. He knew about the fight 3 days prior to when the UFC announced it. But Dana said, "Don't tell anybody. I don't want it leaking." Seems like he didn't tell his coaches because his coaches are doing fucking media interviews all left and right. And then Poirier tweets, "It was all a big misunderstanding. Couldn't get in touch with my manager for a few days. Sorry, fight's back on."
Also, I don't know who this guy is, Benoit's guy.
His coach.
But Dana, in his message on Instagram, said, "Fuck you. This is why nobody trusts you."
Yeah.
So I guess this guy
he was talking
is
He was talking to the
about the
reporter
media.
that
Yeah, he
interviewed
was talking about the
him.
reporter that asked about it.
God.
His name's
Which people were also
Guillermo
Cruz.
Guillermo Cruz.
People were upset about that as well because they were like, the reporter didn't say it. His coach said
Yeah,
that.
why are and then Ali Abdelaziz may have made up Sean Brady and Vicente Luque signed something.
People did compare the handwriting to old documents of Ali's handwriting, and it looked similar.
He literally, basically, I think I'm assuming that Ali literally just took the last page of the contract and just wrote Vicente Luque out, and just wrote the date like January 10th, and then just like, "Here, look."
Yeah.
There was like no signature, no.
Yeah.
Also, in a bout agreement, you would need Sean Brady to also sign it, and Hunter, and then like Sean Shelby, whoever needed to sign it, also did not sign it. It was literally just a piece of paper. Also, I think it was in like pencil.
It was like the
wasn't
bench
pencil.
warmers.
It was
It
pencil.
was bench warmers IM12. It was
Yeah.
on that birth certificate. You know?
Yeah.
It was almost like Ali saw what Dana White did and was like, "Oh, great way to say fuck the media.
Yeah, like let's get on his
let's
good
get
side.
on it. And then he was like,
Which we
oh,
do here, with Dave. Like people do that. It's like you see your boss saying something, and you're like, I'm on his side.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he was just like, and then he just made up that because there was rumors. Shout out to our MMA Journalist of the Year 2023 Magic. He told us for a while, Luke and Brady not signed. He's been tweeting that for a while, and then it came out that it wasn't signed. But Ali's saying no. Sean Brady actually got injured, and that's okay. Injuries happen. That's what he said.
Of course, yeah.
I think Sean Brady said himself he got injured. Correct.
I'm not 100%
I'm
sure.
pretty sure.
I think he did with Helwani.
I think he put on Instagram or somebody that he said he got hurt and needed like a little more time.
Got it.
Or he was recovering from an injury from the. I guess he came into the Gaslam fight, I think, injured. He needed a little more time to recover from whatever he was recovering from. But also, Poirier 100% just pulled the I want more money and then got it. And then, so never mind. Misunderstanding.
The misunderstanding thing.
They said, how's another 50K? Just a misunderstanding.
He's trying to sell us like,
yeah,
he was like happy for my boy. Yeah. The fact that Poirier is trying to sell us that like his manager agreed to the fight, didn't tell him, and then went off the grid for a few days is crazy.
Also, this fight's been announced for what, 2 weeks?
January 10th was when it was announced. So a little longer. Yeah.
3 weeks. Like it's been out there like
a long time.
And then that's why I was like, oh man, Benoit must have got hurt. And I sent it in the chat. And then people in the replies were like, no, Benoit's been posting all day about can't wait.
It was such a weird
almost like
scenario.
They posted at the same time.
Yeah.
That Poirier posted the thing and almost simultaneously he posted and then Benoit posted counting down the days.
Now, the moral of the story or the important thing here is the fight is happening. Like it's gonna happen. 5-round co-main event, it seems like, based on the text and whatnot. This is like one of my most anticipated fights of the year for sure. An amazing fight. If something were to happen, knock on wood, where this fell apart, I would have been fucking devastated.
My only hope when I really thought it wasn't happening. My initial thought was like, please just say they're moving into 300.
I thought the same thing.
I was like, maybe they think 300 just needs like one more fight in the main card. Maybe there's a fight they thought they were getting for 300 that now they're not getting, and they'd already agreed to 5 rounds. Like we maybe make this one 5 rounds since we already like there's no main event yet. The BMF is 5 rounds. The women's title fight's 5 rounds, and they could have they want to fill out the main card with like Charles, then like Dustin Poirier at BSD, then like the 3 fights, which would have been an awesome main card. So
for sure,
my thought went there initially. I was like, maybe that could happen, but. I'm just, like you said, very happy this fight's happening.
Thank God.
Agree 100%. Probably, I'm looking forward to it more than the Sugar Cheeto fight, honestly.
It's close.
It's close.
That's like neck and neck for me, for sure.
I just think it's going to be such a war, like BSD, however long it lasts. It's going to be a war where I could see, like, Sugar just being more technical in it being... I still think it's going to be a great fight because I do think Sugar will engage.
Yeah.
But just stylistically... Like
Poirier, it'll probably be more of a war.
Like BSD doesn't know what going backwards means.
Yeah, no.
Like he's going to come forward, and we haven't really seen Poirier ever go backwards much either.
No. I wrote a blog like breaking down the whole saga, and I love being able to throw this in about Benoit. I said, Benoit, amazing prospect, one of the most exciting in MMA. For people that don't know, paratrooper from this French Special Forces. Also, Joe Rogan thinks he's killed people with rocks.
Yes.
That's just now a note on his resume where I'm like, he might have killed people with rocks.
I do. The one thing that he said, that obviously is a very funny comment. The part that I do think has a lot of legs that he said about just a guy that like a Special Forces background is, you don't like guys that with like that psyche, you don't fight for decisions.
No, you're not fighting to edge out a decision,
one of us is basically dying.
Yeah, no point fighting.
I'm either
Oleski Dos Santos.
That's what I was just going to bring that up. The fight that we only seen him lose. People, I'm pretty sure that ref is literally not allowed to ref the UFC anymore. Yeah, because he almost let BSD literally die.
But BSD wouldn't die.
Just took it. He would not die.
He would not die.
He just refused to die. But he was getting at one point. He was getting mauled.
By the way, have we done a show since Rough and Rowdy? Because we had Kevin McDonald from the UFC.
Yeah,
reffing Rough and Rowdy. Incredible. I had no idea it was happening until we're mid-show. He hasn't reffed yet. But Jerry, our awesome like commissioner, I guess, goes on the mic and he goes, and special announcement for everyone in the building. We have a UFC referee in the ring right now, Kevin McDonald. And I look in the ring and I'm like, that ain't Kevin McDonald. And the referee walks over to him and he's like, My name's Brian. He's up later. So he announced the wrong guy. And Kevin McDonald did ref later in the night, and he like made the announcement again. He was good for Rough and Rowdy. I think Kevin McDonald was the ref in the first Kudalaba fight where it was like he faked. What was it? Who did he fight? Ankalaev fight where he faked being rocked and shit. Pretty sure that was Kevin McDonald.
It might have been. I'm trying to think. Might have been.
I'm so bad with refs.
I'm happy to have him in the UFC or in Rough and Rowdy. I didn't expect a UFC referee. Herb Dean next, hopefully. Herb Dean in the Rough and Rowdy would be amazing.
And then wasn't there another UFC Rough and Rowdy connection?
Josh Fremd.
Yeah.
So our main eventer, Lord Burns, came out and said, I would like to be the first Rough and Rowdy fighter to make the jump to UFC. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. I'll support that journey. And then Josh Fremd is like, you would be the second, my man, and tweeted a video of him. I think it was pre-Barstool Rough and Rowdy.
I'm pretty sure it was.
But still awesome to say that like Rough and Rowdy has a guy that's made it to the big leagues. That
incredible.
Shout out Josh Fremd.
I mean, Josh Fremd, like, talk about just he's a great
did the damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy to go from Rough and Rowdy to UFC is actually truly.
That's like an underdog story. That's like a crazy underdog story.
Like a movie.
That makes me want to root for him way more now.
It's like a movie.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh Fremd.
Shout out Josh Fremd. Any other fight news to get into before the card?
Honestly, it's not. I don't know how much like news. I feel like it's kind of late at this point, but I don't think we had like a real show since it happened. The Annex stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's become like very hot button.
Yeah,
talked about topic of him. I mean, he's already talked about it a bunch since then. He basically just said he kind of had like a moment of just feeling the hate, just feeling. I think everyone, even we get it on even a smaller scale, but still just when you're just in this like internet world where you're producing content, stuff like that, people are just kind of, it gets to you every now and then.
Totally.
I think people were just ripping him for. He basically just said he thought Duplessis won.
Yeah.
And he was just getting like, in which
a super close
like
fight.
It was, I think even like the MMA scores, like the journalist thing, it was like basically 50-50.
Yeah.
It was all, I mean, it was such a razor thin fight. I don't know how you could get mad at thinking somebody won like either side. But I mean, he's already like walked it back. It was like, basically didn't expect it to become this big of a thing. A lot of people came to his defense. He said basically what he was most happy about is all like so many fighters came to his defense.
Yeah.
He's like, because
you were one of them.
I was one of them. He responded back.
One of the issues was he did say like MMA fans are, what was it, classless, toxic. Like he doesn't like. I forgot the exact quote, but it was disparaging to MMA fans, and that was where people were really pissed off about. Now, I think he was saying it more in like the moment, and he got caught up, and then he apologized.
And there is a section of him like that. I think there's a section of every fandom like that.
Yeah,
and that's the tough part. It might be a little larger a percentage in MMA.
Well, yeah, because it's a physical, masculine, like very,
like when I read his quote, I was like, yeah, like I get that. I didn't expect as many people to be mad at him as they were.
When I saw what he said, the exact quote when he talked about the fans, I was like, oh no, he shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And I knew he didn't mean it because I know he does appreciate MMA fans more than, and I think he was saying more so the people that are so online. Like the very online MMA fan that has a photo of a fighter as their
like
profile
MMA
picture.
Twitter, basically.
Yeah. And I think he was like, that's who he's talking about, not the people who come to the events and like whatnot.
I'm sure it's similar to Barstool. I would just assume in that you get a lot of hate online. In real life, it's 90 to 99% positive stuff. Hey, cool stuff.
Yeah, I think Keymore was just obviously clarified and was kind of saying just like kind of that bottom 5%, which like you said, every fan base kind of has that. But UFC especially, and I do not to put any like blame on Sean Strickland. I think this specifically, people that are like, if you're like a ride or die like Strickland fan, I could see where someone that like resonates with Strickland the most
could probably using different vocabulary than most fans. Could potentially
be like the most ruthless as like a Twitter commentator. I don't think that's totally out of the question. So I think that could have been part of it as well. And I think also on top of that, Strickland's just become such a huge star.
Yep.
that he has galvanized like a massive fan base now.
Yeah.
That I not only imagine, I would guarantee is much bigger than Dricus is.
Oh, definitely.
So, and Sean being the champion, everything, like saying he lost was, I could see where people just
You're going to piss off the wrong people.
Yeah, you're pissing off the wrong people and more people.
Yeah.
Than by saying, oh, like he won. But, I mean, he's a great guy. He already walked it back. I've talked to him a little bit, so maybe we do it some with him in the future
That'd be nice.
for the people.
Stay
maybe.
tuned.
And sometimes,
tuned.
like, even we've gotten, like, when the hate gets to you, like, you kind of like, fuck all you guys. Like, you guys
Yeah.
are all losers. You don't actually mean that.
You
mean,
sleep on it, and then you wake up, and
Yeah.
you're like, I shouldn't have tweeted that. or
But, like, I get why people were mad. But he apologized. Like, I mean, like,
Pretty
what are you supposed to
instantly,
do?
he
He's
was
also
like,
like, and he said himself, like, part of him too, like, he's like, I read comments, like, he wants to be, he said, like, I don't want to be a guy that just goes on Twitter, tweets, and then just goes.
No, you could tell
Like,
he,
you see,
he reads, yeah.
He follows, like, he said, like, he's like, when I have, like, a very positive interaction with a fan, like, I like to follow them back.
Yep.
When, like, that kind of thing. I was appreciative. I literally, how he followed me was I tweeted night before the Michigan Ohio State game. I was like, as the great John Anik would say, one more sleep.
Yeah.
And he liked it, followed, and then we had this interaction where I stood up for him because I've said forever, I just love him. I think he's the best, like, play-by-play guy in, like, any sport. I just think he's articulate, fast, personable, like, genuinely cares, is knowledgeable. Just big fan of his. So love you, John Anik.
Huge John Anik podcast over here. Do you want to get into the card this weekend?
Hell yeah. Great fight night card.
It's a great fight
Very
night card
good
and a
fight
lot
night
of
card.
fights too. Like we have fights starts at 4 and we have fights the whole night.
Do we have a 13 fight card? This is
3, 4, 5,
as
6,
of now,
7.
nothing has been lost so far. As
We do.
of Friday at 1:15.
13 fight card.
I don't know that
about
100% yet, but I know a lot of weight in. To my knowledge, no one has missed weight yet. If anyone in our Rumble chat,
Oh, Drew Dober looking sucked in.
someone in our Rumble chat at least said that.
Wow. Yeah.
That,
So
that he
weigh-ins,
wasn't looking
yeah.
good in the cut.
Weigh-ins are still happening. Drew Dober looks sucked in. Our girl Meatball Molly did make strawweight. First time in her career that she's fighting in strawweight. She made it without an issue, looks like. 116. She weighed in great. And we'll look forward to that. But let's start at the beginning of the card. And bear with us here because there are a couple names on this card that are a bit hard to pronounce. But
A
I'll
couple
try my
heavyweights
best.
to kick it off.
Yep. Thomas Peterson versus Jamal Pogues. Peterson, how many times has Peterson fought in the UFC?
I think
One?
Zero.
I thought
Contender
once.
series once?
Am I wrong? I thought once.
This is his first time.
Is it his first time?
Yeah,
Is it just contender?
I think just contender.
Oh, you want to know who I get always getting
He
confused
subbed,
with?
he subbed someone.
I get him confused with Mick Parkin
Yeah.
for some reason. They're both just big white heavyweights. that are
Yeah.
newer to the
And
UFC.
Mick Parker fought Jamal Pogues, right?
Maybe that's why I got it confused.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, that was Jamal Pogues' last fight. Good call.
Yeah. So, and I think Thomas Peterson's also British. Or is he American?
American.
Okay, never mind.
The
Mick
train.
Parkin's British. I knew that.
I took Jamal Pogues earlier in the week. I just think this is kind of like a 50-50 fight. And I took him at plus like 150. I think he's plus 140 now.
Yep.
I think Jamal Pogues is like he's fine. I also just don't think Thomas Peterson's that good. And Jamal Pogues has fought in the UFC before. He'll be more calm and whatnot. So I took him here. But I mean, it's nothing that's Hot Billy. Shout out Hot Billy.
Shout out Hot Billy.
Legend.
Over on in the Rumble chat. Shout out Hot Billy. That's what it's
Legend.
all about.
Tim
Thank
Sylvia
you.
coming in 2024.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
making that happen.
We'll make it happen for you, Hot
Absolutely
Billy.
making that happen.
Shout out Hot Billy. I got paid to be. Yeah, we actually gave Billy a contract with us with Rumble to get
Yep.
on.
Hot
to
Billy.
get him over there.
Hot Billy, you earned it, brother.
But
Congrats.
I took Jamal Pogues. Yep.
You know what? Jamal Pogues is. I don't hate the play at all because I think as a dog, I think it's a solid price. Jamal Pogues, and I think a lot of heavyweights are like this, especially kind of those like tweener at like not quite a contender, but not like I think he's UFC caliber, but he's he's very much like what Jamal Pogues is going to show up.
Yeah.
And so like we've seen some really good, like some look really good and some I am not betting this fight. I'm picking Thomas Peterson to win, but not super confidently.
The next fight's another contender series guy making his UFC debut. That would be Markel Medeiros, who had a huge first round knockout in the contender series, versus Landon Canoas. It's got the little
Kinwanis.
Enya. Kinwanis. It's hard to say.
I took Landon. I got him at plus 140. I think he's down to like plus 110 now.
Yep.
I think Landon has like a great durability. And how do you say the other guy's last name?
Medeiros.
Medeiros is good. Like he's not bad, but I think they have similar striking, and then Medeiros could find a finish. But Kenwanza is like he fought against Nasrat.
Yeah.
And Nasrat
late notice too.
Late notice, and they both threw like 100+ punches. And I think in this fight, if he can do that here, I could see him, especially at what I got him at plus 140. Like I could see a nice little decision going his way, or maybe even a late finish.
I like Quinones a lot.
Yeah.
I'd say even back up to like 120. I think even like I think it's solid line. I just think, like you said, I think the striking's pretty even. I think he's got the cardio advantage. I think he's even probably a little more technical.
Yep.
I think probably a little less.
And
power.
I like Nasrat. I think Nasrat's a good fighter.
Dude, he's like a good lightweight, like a rock solid, probably like top 30 lightweight.
And he went like punch for punch with him.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that was an impressive performance, especially your UFC debut,
100%.
Short notice. I like Quinones a lot here. I think he's
a dog.
I think I could even see like maybe a little sprinkle on like third round.
Yep.
Like later. Like I think he's better. Like it's a better cardio. I just trust as a sharp would say, like the process.
Yeah.
I trust his like just overall game a little bit better. And I think
it's a good fight though.
I think it's a good fight. I think it's outside of him getting clipped early, which I like his cardio. I trust enough to bet on him.
The next fight is a fight between two former Meatball Molly opponents, Luana Carolina versus Julia Stoliarenko.
Okay, so this fight is just like, what are you fucking supposed to do?
I think Julia.
I
think the armbar queen.
You can't go.
Luana. I think we ride with the armbar queen.
It's just like I'm not betting Julia.
I think I might.
Stinkarenko.
Stinkarenko. Oh, that's savage. That's not nice.
Luana's like so long, and like sometimes she throws a jab in there. I'm like, oh, she's not that bad, but I'm not gonna bet her. I'm not betting
No,
this.
You can't bet her. No.
But if
it's Stoliarenko by sub,
but that's if you bet her, you have to bet her by, because I mean she's not gonna win any other way. If she did, I'd be shocked.
And the long limbs of Carolina.
Luana's long.
She is. She's definitely
long.
It doesn't look like she likes to fight. I mean, she's getting paid, but.
The featherweight division, Lee Jung-Young versus Blake Builder. What are the odds on this one?
I think Lee
heavy
is like minus 140.
Yeah. Minus 140, plus 120 return on Builder.
I hate Blake Builder.
I was gonna say I like Lee a lot.
He's another contender. I think he was like not this past, like last year contender series.
And he lost to Shane Young.
Yeah, and I don't think Shane Young's honestly very good.
Shane Young, yeah.
I would pick Lee, but I don't know if I'm gonna bet it. But if I had to, I would bet Lee.
Yeah, but I kind of feel weird looking at the line. I feel like it should be minus 200,
minus 225. I know. That's why that's why I'm probably not gonna bet it. I just don't feel great about it.
I've been seeing people on Twitter bet Lee all week, and it's like, why isn't the line moving? So,
what's next? I just lost my place on this card. Oh, it's Grimbo versus Pete Rodriguez. Good welterweight.
This is Grimbo like easy work, I think.
He's minus 245, it looks like.
Pete Rodriguez is not like to me, he's not a UFC fighter. No disrespect.
His only wins against Mike Jackson.
Which he did viciously knock him out.
He did, yeah.
Also, one of the crazier things that Pete Rodriguez made his debut against Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
crazy.
Like,
he got into the UFC, he was like 4-0.
Yeah.
Like they needed someone to fight Jack. He took the fight last minute. And then they threw him the Mike Jackson tomato can of all time. He murdered Mike Jackson. So credit to him. He at least is not like Mike Jackson level fraud. But I just think Grimbo, this is set up perfectly for Grimbo sub.
Shout out champion.
Or like ground and pound fin, like sub ground and pound.
I think we'll get a finish here.
I think so. And also with Grimbo, with everything with the Rock, bought him the house for his kids and everything. Like he's shout out Zimbabwe.
Yep.
Shout out Za. He's just a good story that somebody they would like to keep in the UFC for a little bit.
People forget Colby Covington kept him fed when he had no money.
That's true. Shout out to him for that. Respect. I know I'm giving Colby a shit, but that's a very nice thing of him to do. But
I think Pete will at least he'll bring the fight to Grimbo.
Yes,
it'll be a stupid move, but he will.
Problem.
Yes.
Because I think he's going to get taken down.
That'll make for an exciting fight. At least. I'm
gonna be on under 1.5 here, which is juiced a little bit, but it's like minus 150. I like the under 1.5. I don't see this getting past round 1, to be completely honest.
I don't think so. I think Grimbo finished him like
Or
first
and then
round.
like P-Rod could find. He's never been
Oh,
called
if
ever
he-
P-Rod, but he could find.
If he clips him,
He could clip him.
I'd be devastated if Grimbo just got knocked out by
That'd be
P.
sad,
Rodriguez.
Do you think the next
That'd
fight?
be tough.
Oh wait, what did you think about the Roadhouse trailer?
Dude, I loved the Roadhouse trailer. Shout out
McGregor.
Championship Rounds in the Rumble chat here. Roadhouse looks fucking awesome. And I
Yeah,
know
that
there's a
looks
lot
good.
of people that are older than us that grew up with the original that are like, don't touch the original, it's sacred. The original's a little goofy. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's a great movie. I love the original, but it's not one of those like it's not The Godfather. It's not like you can never
No.
remake it. I feel like a remake with Jake Gyllenhaal, great actor. I think it's gonna work. And McGregor is the main villain of the movie. I said in my breakdown, I thought McGregor would like be a henchman, have a
Yeah.
fight scene. He is like the main villain.
Have like a cute little cameo.
Exactly.
Somewhere. You know, he's like the guy.
I'm
He's
so
like
excited.
the main.
The only thing I'm upset about is that it's not going to theaters. I would
I
totally
know.
go see this in
Yeah,
theaters.
it's Prime, right?
Yeah.
Prime.
Which is kind of. It seemed like a great movie, like a theater movie.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I've been waiting for months for
I
this.
disagree with this, but it's a comment from the Rumble chat, so I'm throwing it on there.
Shout out Rand K2. Shout out everyone that moved over the Rumble.
Hot Billy said R.I.P. Terry Funk. He died like a year ago.
I mean, still RIP.
Rest
Still.
in peace.
Yeah,
I hope
so-
he's still
yeah,
in peace.
yeah,
but like,
what he
you
can't.
said that like it's breaking news. He
What
died a
if
year ago.
What if you die? And are we not
A
allowed
year
to
later,
say R.I.P.
And I was like, "Yo, why are you saying R.I.P. Robbie? Like he died a year ago. Who gives a fuck about Robbie?"
Just so
Imagine
random.
it's
Oh, he
UFC.
said it because he's in Roadhouse. Terry Funk is in Roadhouse, so that
Oh.
makes sense. But yeah, that's funny. Director
That
told
dude-
Connor, "Just be yourself, and we'll work around it."
That's good. I don't
Championship
mind
round.
that. I don't mind that.
I will say it feels like Connor's trying to be like a further in the acting in the trailer, a further version of Conor McGregor.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like
Even do-
he's acting
like,
as Conor.
whoa.
Yeah, he's got that line where he's like,
He's like,
"Can I give you some advice? Never let someone get this close." And he hits the headbutt.
Also, I like seeing. It's funny seeing him from the trailer because it's like this is the point in time when he was probably doing the most steroids.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's huge.
His head his jaw is so fucking big.
It also
His
like
head is just enormous.
it rationalizes it in my mind. I'm like, he had to look as big as Jake Gyllenhaal. He had to like believably beat up someone much bigger than him in this movie.
Is Gyllenhaal that much bigger than him in real life?
Let's see Gyllenhaal's height. I
A
think
lot of actors aren't that big.
no, that's true.
Gyllenhaal was ripped for this though.
Gyllenhaal's 6 foot.
Okay, so he's like solid like 2-3 inches taller.
Yeah, and like he was on
Oh,
something.
Oh yeah, Gyllenhaal was
Gyllenhaal
definitely on
was
the shit too.
yoked
For
for
sure.
this movie.
Gyllenhaal was on. Like I would love to know it. He was on everything.
He's on that juice.
Hot Billy says Bob Menery in it. Is that a Hot Billy or is that true?
I have no idea.
He could be
tricked
like a
us last
fake
time.
commentator or
Billy, you
something.
trickster.
He is a trickster.
I do love you though, Hot Billy.
He's the best.
And I'll actually the humble. I've been waiting for this movie to come out so long because I love just flexing every time I can that I was there when they filmed the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The next fight on the card is a flyweight fight between Azat Maxim versus Charles Johnson. I think Maxim is a pretty large
Mine
favorite.
is like 220.
Yeah.
He had a very good UFC debut.
He's 17 now.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's from where?
He's from where
Kazakhstan.
I wanted
Kazakhstan.
yeah, I was
We're
gonna
gonna
say
say where Borat's from.
no, where
Shotgun.
yeah, where Shopgun.
I thought you were going
I knew
Borat
they
with
had
it.
the same flag.
It is funny.
It's like blue
Borat,
with the yellow.
Shavkat, and now
Yeah.
That was how I first learned of Kazakhstan. Was Borat.
Oh,
Just
me
being
too.
honest.
Oh, 100%.
Tim Sylvie said, "I swear on Tim Sylvia's life." Hot Billy. Did I say Tim Sylvie? I swear
Yeah.
on Tim Sylvia's life.
Maybe
Hot Billy,
that
Hot
would
Billy,
be
you
the
are now
best twist
Hot
ever.
Billy, you are now infamous.
Dude,
with
the
Tim
best
Sylvia.
twist ever would be if Tim Sylvia is Hot Billy and he's just trying to get on the show.
I would give my hat tip to you, sir, if that was the case.
Charles Johnson is just like, I mean, like he's gonna get taken down by Azat. Like it's just, I mean, if he somehow I took Charles in his last fight, but he didn't turn it on until the third round. I'm not gonna take Azat, but like I don't blame anybody that does, especially as a parlay piece. He seems safe.
That's what I was gonna say. Parlay piece. I think he's warranted.
Shout out
seems
Mitt
safe.
Romney hopping over to Rumble, by the way. Mitt Romney in the Rumble chat.
No girls in the ads.
It's true. He hasn't been doing
had
girls in
any
his
girls
ads anymore.
What that post his last fight?
Yeah.
In his it's just him with a football now.
Damn, Leon stole all his girls. Tough.
Maybe their price went up.
Hot Billy's the best.
Um,
No, listen. the show.
All right, now
Fair enough, Hot Billy. Good for Sylvia Link.
huge fight for us because it's Meatball Molly, and she's a friend of the program, friend of the show. As always, will be in her corner against Diana Belbita. This is a rematch. Molly beat her the first time around. I feel pretty confident in her this time around. She looked great on the scale. Her camp has been great. She just won a grappling competition. She's like back on, I know she lost 2 fights, but she got back on like a winning track in that way mentally.
Yeah.
I think Molly's going to go in there and get a finish here.
I think she took the proper time off. Johnny Drama 28 mentioned as well. Like she only had to cut 3 pounds overnight.
Yep.
That's huge. I mean, that's the fact that tells me everything. She did the weight cut the right way. Like you mentioned, she looks great on the scale. Doesn't look sucked out. She just looks fucking jacked, man.
Yeah.
Arms, shoulders.
She might be a natural 115 pounder.
She got it was the first time I would say we've got to see she got the ribs going in the weight cut. This could be huge for her. This maybe could be a massive shift in her career. And she had talked about a little bit in the media day that after the last fight, she was obviously just disappointed. The Stoliarenko fight was kind of a weird fight for her, where it was coming off obviously the Blanchfield loss, and then they give her that fight where Stoliarenko was coming down for the first time in a long time. She gets just caught early on.
Yeah.
But this is huge for her. I think she does well here. She, like you said, she looks really good. I think she gets it done. I think even a parlay piece for Molly McCann again.
Absolutely. I'll get some meatballs for the fight. Maybe that'll be my Saturday night dinner.
Hell yeah.
And we get a meatball sub.
Yes, 100%.
I think we could. We were talking about it before the show. I think she, like you said, she's got big in the grappling since then. She had the grappling match and won.
Yep.
Little get that one back. She got subbed the last couple fights. Get that one back.
By the way, shout out Jack Mack. Jack Mack flu game right now. He actually did have the flu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit better now, but you can still kind of hear it in my voice. But we're battling through.
They're
getting the
appreciating
stamina back.
Yeah. You no longer have 8% oxygen.
Yeah, no
from the
longer,
flu.
Yeah.
And then onto the main card. That's the Molly fight is like the prelim headliner. Main card kicks off in the welterweight division. Gilbert Urbina versus Charles Radke.
I like Urbina here.
What are the odds on this one?
I just don't think Radke's very good. I don't think
is this close odds or no?
Urbina's minus like 190, is it something like that? 180, 190-ish, 200? Like in that like 180 to 200 range. I just don't think Urbina's not great, but Radke I think is just not like
Radke.
I just don't think he's very good.
Remember his fight against Blood Diamond?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
He almost died in it.
Yeah.
Like his cardio.
Yeah, it was not great.
Radke, I don't love Urbina, but I've seen some love for Radke, but I'm not gonna bet this fight.
Urbina to me at least has shown he lost to Battle and some guys, but he's got I think I forget it was his last fight before when they throw him who can-ish borderline UFC guys, I think he's kind of ran through them at least on the regional, and I think his last fight he hit a knockout. I think a knockout's in play here if you even want to play a finish, but I think Urbina gets it done.
I don't blame you.
And then the next fight, this is speaking of hard names to pronounce. The next fight, it's Alishkov Kariziev,
the
bear versus Muradov.
Habib, well, not fat because Habib's
but
now.
Habib is pretty. Habib is fat. Habib
this
now.
Is bear Habib.
Yes,
this is the bear that Habib actually wrestled as a child.
He's in a bear costume.
Versus Makhmed Muradov.
Okay, I'm gonna take. I already took a Muradov. I think this is just I don't even. What are we supposed to expect for Karai or Kira?
It's hard.
It's fucking the bear.
Bear Habib. What
Yes.
are we supposed to expect from him? He's fought 2 times in 4 or 5 years. He could just come in here and smash, but Muradov's been around for a while. Maybe you can put him into deep waters. This guy kind of gets a little. We saw Kirov at PFL a few years ago. He's huge. He's just a big
14-0.
He is 14-0.
Oh, the bear. It says the Black Wolf is his new nickname.
He looks like a fucking bear.
The Black Wolf. Interesting. Speaking of nicknames, did you guys see the Jim Miller UFC 300 nickname controversy?
Yeah.
He wants to be announced as Jim fucking Miller.
He won't curse.
Bruce Buffer won't do it.
Buffer doesn't want to curse.
He said he would do friggin'.
This
Doesn't hit.
the same.
No.
Just go Jim Miller.
Jim fucking Miller would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Imagine that in Bruce Buffer's voice.
It's
fucking.
Also, I realize he might not be able to because I think the prelims might be on ESPN.
Oh, that
Or
would be.
ESPN, which then he just like couldn't.
Then
do it.
he can't do that.
I think I'm not 100% sure if that is, but I think their prelims might be. I could see UFC 300 prelims being on ESPN.
Yeah,
or like one of the major network.
Mitt Romney has a little fun fact for us in the Rumble chat. He says, "Fun fact: after 297, if you look back at the UFC 276 card, has 8 current or former champions on that card. That is a fun fact."
Is he saying?
Wow.
276 UFC 276. Who was on that
trying
card?
to think in my head.
Okay, that's Adesanya Cannonier.
That's
Volk
that's
Holloway.
Like, O'Malley, Munoz, Ian Gary was on that card against. I want to say
Robbie
Ian
Lawler.
That was Lawler Barberena.
Yep. Pereira versus Strickland.
Yes. Yep.
Cerrone versus Jim Miller was on that card.
That's right.
Drickus versus Brad Tatharis was on that card.
The Drickus fight was on.
Fire card, huh? Wow.
It's a great card.
I'm on Muradov. He's from Kyrgyzstan, I think. Can you look where he's from?
Yeah.
Fuck, where's he from? Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes, Uzbekistan.
And I had an Uber driver this past week from Uzbekistan, and I talked to him about Muradov.
Oh, did you?
I was like,
he's a Muradov guy?
And I was like, oh, are you from? Because he had the flag. And he said, yes. How'd you know the flag? And I was just like, well,
I'm a UFC fan. Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. I'm just a smart guy. Beautiful country. And then it's like, do you know Muradov, the fighter? He's like, yes. I don't know if he understood me.
Yeah.
But he
My
said,
Uber driver one-upped me this morning, which is weird. I got out. I said, have a good day. He said, have a great day.
Damn.
I was like, I appreciate it, but don't one-up me.
He's way nicer than you.
Yeah.
So much nicer.
I'm
Muradov. I don't know. I just feel like if I was to play it, I would play Muradov, but I definitely have some reservations.
Yeah.
Because I think he's one of those, like his name ends with a V and you think he's better than he is.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a few performances at Muradov where I thought he was going to do much better.
Yeah.
Like I remember Borallo just like smoked him. He's had a couple guys. Did GM3 beat him or am I making that up in my head?
I think so.
You are right. You were correct about that. Submitted him in the second round in 2021.
He's had some weird performances like that. I still would, if I had to play it, I'd play him, but I have some, like I said, I have some reservations for sure.
Then in the women's flyweight division, we have what should be an easy fight for Natalia Silva, I would say.
Yeah.
Against Viviana Rojo.
And apparently she's one of the last, her and Luana are the last two that haven't weighed in.
Ooh,
I think that Natalia is going to like fucking kill her.
I think it's
inside the distance.
Really,
you think Silva is?
Yeah.
I think she's a beast.
Sorry. Vivian's going to kill. I meant Silva's going to kill Vivian.
Yeah. I think she's a finisher for real.
Yeah.
That fucking like spinning body kick she had.
Yeah.
On what did she do it to the Russian Ronda?
Yeah. What's her name?
She murdered her with that kick.
The Russian Ronda.
She landed a kick where it hit her in the chin and then hit her so hard. It was so like straight. It like knocked her in the chin, but then also hit her like square in the neck.
Yeah.
And I was rewatching it recently.
Hopefully we get a Russia Ronda.
Silva just dropped the kick on her.
Because I need another fade of her. She's the worst fighter in the history.
Oh, come on.
She should not be allowed.
Come on.
No,
worst in the history?
Yes, she should not be allowed in the UFC.
There's got to be someone worse.
Man.
There's got to be someone worse. Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikov. This is a good fight. Randy Brown minus
fight.
230 favorite. Do you think
he's just going to win via splits?
Because Salikov had a very good last fight.
Yeah,
when he had a few not so great ones before that, he smoked Fiallo.
But he's a classic when he's fighting really, like even when he loses before it, he looks really good.
Yeah,
like you remember
the Leech.
The
Leech knocked him out in Long Island.
But Muslim was looking great before it. If I recall,
he was looking solid. I just think when I think of these two just getting in the cage together, I just think of Randy Brown being so much like younger, longer, more athletic, and I feel like that's going to pose problems. Like I don't blame anyone betting Salikov at plus like 225 he is right now. Like I would not lay minus like 290 with Randy Brown. But I just think he's going to pose like such significant physical athletic advantages. That's going to be tough for Salikov to overcome those.
his only loss recently was to Jack Della, right? Randy Brown.
And the first, the fight wasn't long, but it was like the 2 minutes, 3 minutes before he got finished. He was looking really good.
And before
And he just
that,
got caught with a big shot by JDM, who was obviously a very good fighter.
beat Turman after that. Before that, he beat Trinaldo.
Beat Chaos Williams.
He beat Gooden. He beat Oliveira, not that Oliveira, Cowboy Oliveira.
Yeah.
And then lost to Luque in 2020, but that was his last loss before that. So he's on like a pretty good
fighter,
streak.
man.
Yeah.
He's 6'3", like he's 6'3", he's long as hell, he's athletic. He's a New York guy as well.
Yep.
He was actually one of the people who he shouted out Dave after one of his fights.
That's right. Yeah. He was like
Barstool, like, sign me, like Dave Portnoy. Sign me.
That was right after he saw like the Patty 7-figure deal.
For
and
sure.
was like, are they giving out millions over there?
Yeah, for sure. But I like Randy Brown. I like watching him fight.
I like him too. The co-main event, Moicano wants money. Moicano versus Drew Dober. We were just talking about Drew Dober looking pretty sucked out on the scale. I don't know if that's going to have any effect here. I do feel this like kinship to Moicano. Since that post-fight speech, I'm like, I'm a Moicano guy now.
New York is awesome. he said, they put me in the rankings. You disrespect me.
Yeah.
Because I take fight on 5 days, like 24 hours, 4 days notice.
Yep.
Eating steaks, drinking beer in Brazil. They call me, I come fight.
And I love Drew Dober. I do.
Only fight I lose to the best. They disrespect me.
Yeah. Are you on Moicano?
Absolutely big.
Yeah.
Like I love Moicano. Love Moicano in this fight. I think he gets it done by sub. I think the grappling edge is very big.
You can get him at pretty decent odds, right?
I think the striking is pretty close. I think the only real like edge is Dober's power, but I think Moicano can strike with him. Like I don't think it's going to be like lopsided that way. And I think if he gets a takedown, I think Moicano is going to win. I think he will get there, or take the back. If he can do anything like that, I think he's going to win, and I think he will do it at some point. I like him by finish.
The chat is liking Dober, the Rumble chat. Championship round said Dober's a massive 55er. And Johnny Drama says if you take that steamroller knockout out of the equation, Dober's on an absolute flames. This could be an easy first round knockout.
I mean, with Dober, like, listen, that could always happen. Like, that's the risk you take in like an MMA fight. I just think Moicano's much more well-rounded. Yeah, like I would prefer sub, but even finish sub.
I'm going to be on Dober, I think. I think the line's gone a little bit too far there in one way. I didn't mind Moicano at minus 120, but now, like, you can get Dober at plus 150, 160. I think if he can avoid takedowns, he can make it a close fight. And, like, his power's a great equalizer, too. Nothing against Moicano. It's just plus 155. I feel like I'm going to at least sprinkle a little bit on Dober. But I understand the love for Moicano.
And then the main event, Dolides versus Imavov. This is a great fight, great main event. What are the odds on this one?
I know.
All right, pretty close.
Imavov's minus like 180-ish.
On plus, you said?
No, minus.
Oh, gotcha.
Imavov is minus like 180.
Yeah, a UFC website, which, you know, is kind of like they give you around the odds, says Roman is plus 140, Imavov is minus 166. Obviously, that's gone down a bit by now. Do you take a shot on Roman as an underdog?
Still around. Dolides still is like plus like 145.
Do you like him at that?
So I've seen a ton of Imavov love. I know I'm a Dolides guy in the room.
Yeah.
I still think he's underrated. I mean, I still think about like his fight with Vittoria. I thought was really close, and that was all striking. I think people forgetting too what he did to Jack Hermanson was like he mauled Hermanson.
Yeah.
I mean, he had him in that crazy like leg. He basically made him I think he technically was like a TKO, but he had him in that like crazy calf slicer.
It was technically a knockout, but yeah.
I think Dolides is
beat Phil Hawes real bad.
I understand why people like it, Imavov, just kind of like longer, probably like a better technical striker. I'm just Dolides. I think Dolides is like a gamer. I think he's a winner. I like Dolides at plus money.
I took Imavov earlier around like minus 145. More I look at it, it's like I feel like let's say inside the distance, maybe the play here. I may be able to get out of this. I may see how the card goes for me, which isn't like a great strategy. But I think like Imavov's just a little bit better almost everywhere outside of. The only thing is Dolides just like always proves me wrong. I've always been on the wrong side of Dolides. He's always proved me wrong. And even I got lucky the last time. I still think he beat Vittori. So I get the love for Dolidze, and he's just a great underdog guy that's gonna fight for your money, and he's just like he's a fucking gamer. So yeah, but I'm on Imavov right now. I just think he's like a great striker. He's pretty good on the ground too. But the Dolidze is just so strong. Like he gets you in those positions, you may just be fucked. Like look at, I mean, yeah, like Hermanson, even Hawes and whatnot. And
Also, he Dolidze, doesn't he? I don't know if he's at the gym full time. Is he at Couture full time?
I don't know about that.
I know he at least, I've seen him train with
Yeah.
Strickland. I don't know if he's like his full camp there. I don't know exactly. I don't know. Maybe he just was
Does he
there.
still live in Georgia?
I don't know. I'm not. That's what I was. Because my thought process too was Strickland fought Imavov and did very well against him. Not that, listen, just because like your training partner or somebody did good against somebody else doesn't mean like it's not like 1 + 1 = 2. But I do think I'm pretty sure he does train there a lot, and if he has that doing rounds at Strickland.